For those of you who don't know me, my name is Victoria Sullivan. I served 2 terms in the House of Representatives. I was an assistant majority leader. I served on the House Education Committee. I also served as selectman here in Ward 9, and I served on the Manchester Heritage Commission. I want to talk to you about who I am, where I come from, and why I'm fighting for our city. Over the last 4 years or so, the New Hampshire Democrats have taken upon themselves to try to discredit me as a person, to try to diminish the work that I have done here, to diminish my commitment to the city, and to spread false information about who I am. I'm a mother of 2 teenage boys. I've been married for 22 years to my husband, Buddy. We bought a home in Manchester 15 years ago. But prior to that, I lived in Manchester, and I lived in other cities in New Hampshire. I was born and raised in Massachusetts. That's true. A great little town called Medway. My parents moved up to New Hampshire around 1991, 92. At that time, I also moved up here. And then over the years, I lived in other parts of New Hampshire and eventually moved back to Massachusetts for a time when I met my husband, because he wanted to be close to his grandmother, who was elderly and he was very close to. After she passed, we bought a house in New Hampshire so that we could be close to the kids' grandparents. My husband's mother and father both lived in New Hampshire, and my parents lived in Manchester, and I knew that I wanted to be near them. So we found a great house. We moved in. We've enjoyed so much of what Manchester had to offer, especially since I grew up in a small town that had nothing. It was a great experience for me and for my kids. I started coaching when my oldest son was, I think, 4, because soccer starts pretty early here in New Hampshire. And I started coaching and being a team mom when he entered sports. I coached for Little League on the south end, over at Precor Park. And I also helped coach basketball for Highland Goss Falls Elementary School. I started a drama club there where every child was welcome to participate, grades 1 through 5. And I could only do it with the help of other volunteers, mostly parents, but also a friend of mine who had no children at the time that volunteered 3 days a week to come and help us out. The life experiences that you gain from musical theater, the camaraderie, the self-esteem, the self-confidence that these kids experienced and grew into was amazing, and I'm grateful for every opportunity I had there. We welcomed every child in the school and found a place for everybody. I also started a book drive some years ago. I was going through my children's old books and going through some they had outgrown, and sort of put a call out there saying, hey, if anybody else has other books that their kids have outgrown, maybe we can do something with them. Maybe we can do something to distribute them to kids that don't have books. So through the generosity, once again, of our community, I was able to get thousands of books over the years, redistributed to thousands of children. We were able to collect them, make sure that they were gently used and they were still in good shape. And then we gave them out at many places across the city, including one time we had a reading day for English language learners. And we read to the children, mostly new Americans, and every child was able to leave with 2 or 3 books to take home for reading. It was a great experience. I continued that through COVID. When the schools and the libraries were closed, you still gave me books. People still donated to me. And I took those books and I redistributed them throughout the city. There were times where there were families coming to pick up food. They'd come to the local school. There'd be a food distribution there. I would bring the books and distribute books there, come back and get them at the end of the day. And I did that for several weeks, maybe months, during COVID. During that time, I also participated in food banks, food distribution, and I volunteered at the 1269 Cafe. I tell you these things not to pat myself on the back, because it's not the case. I tell you these things because New Hampshire Democrats want you to believe that I'm not invested in my city, that I have run for office to elevate myself in some way, and it's just not true. I put my name on a ballot for the first time because I was a frustrated parent. I was frustrated by what was happening in our schools, and I want to make a difference, and I did. I passed legislation that has been copied nationally. But that's not all that I did. I also put in bills that helped our new Americans, protected women from female genital mutilation. I also put in bills that addressed what was happening here in Manchester with the opioid epidemic and with mental illness. At that time, I put in several bills addressing the situation, and I couldn't get any of them passed because people still believed we were going to arrest our way out of that. As you can see, we haven't made a dent in it. Our opioid epidemic has taken more lives this year than it has since 2018, and it will continue to rise. We don't have mental health facilities for long-term patients that need them. And these are all things that I helped to address when I was a state representative, but people still kept thinking that they were going to arrest their way out of it. And now here we are with all of these situations have escalated to the point where they have taken over all of the conversations when it comes to Manchester. So I just wanted to lay that out there for you to let you know exactly who I am. And I'm going to use this platform and now Twitter, since Twitter communications have opened up quite a bit. I've always found Facebook to be a place where we can communicate and have honest conversations, and you are able to ask me questions and I'm able to respond to you. So I'm going to bring everything directly to you from here on out. You've seen recently that I have said that it's good to see some of the plans that I put forward being spoken about, and I don't say that because I want to pat myself on the back again. I say it because for 4 years I presented plans to help this city, comprehensive plans to help this city. And for 4 years, the New Hampshire Democrats have lied to you and deceived you and told me that I didn't. They went to the extreme of setting up a website that looked like mine. And if you pressed a button that said homelessness plan, you pressed the button, it took you to a blank page. This is how far they've gone to deceive you. I've asked for Joyce Craig's resignation, and I know to some people that seems harsh or extreme, but I'm going to lay that out for you too. I'm going to use this medium to put out a series of short videos so that I can get across to you everything that I've been trying to get heard for so many years. I think that the city is in a place now to listen. I think things have unfortunately become so bad that people are ready to acknowledge what's happening here. And I think that they're ready for change. And I look forward to continuing our conversations. I look forward to bringing you my plans and explaining them and listening to your feedback. I hope we can get together soon and have a big community meeting. I'm working on that right now because I want to hear what you agree with in my plan, what you disagree with, and you may have ideas that are better. You might have a vision that I don't have that can work. And I think it's important that we're all a part of these very complicated conversations. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.